There's a new Sega Genesis and Mega Drive game coming out this year, and we've got a full preview and all the details right here. My name's Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. Welcome back to the Retro Gamer Boy Show, and we have another brand new game for Sega's awesome 16-bit console. Now, if you want to see more of these new games, why not help supercharge this channel by clicking on all the different YouTube buttons that you'll find around this video screen. Right, let's check out this brand new game. Black Jewel was a game that was released on Steam back in 2017 and was created by 𝗏𝗺𝗃𝗍 𝗏𝗏. The game obviously draws on pop culture films like Conan and the awesome Golden Axe series on the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. The original release was created as if it was a C64 game, however its Mega Drive port is being done by PSCD Games and it's getting the full 16-bit rework. The story is simple. The powerful Black Jewel has been taken by the evil 𝗏𝗏 and you and your sword are off to take it back. This preview is an early build of the game and we are using the 𝗦𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗏𝗃 emulator to play it. Now this game isn't just merely a copy and paste, it's a complete rework for Sega's 16-bit console. The original game is a left to right action platformer. The game has a solid control system with a nice but simple combat mechanic. The Mega Drive version looks to build on the original and create a more action-packed game with greater depth. To start with, the game is faster, twice the speed of the original game, making it more action-packed. Waves of enemies approach you as well as static guardians, a departure from the static enemies you find in the original. There also seems to be a little bit more AI to the enemies and a variation to boss attacks and projectiles. The increased action also sees some additional moves added, including a jump attack, power punch and full screen magical abilities, bringing it closer to the 16-bit arcade port of Golden Axe. But whilst it's thematically and in some ways mechanically similar to Golden Axe, the level structure is very different. The game has a single axis and you cannot move in or out of the screen. It's a mix between action platformer and beat 'em up. As you progress through the level, dispatching enemies and smashing open chests and barrels, you earn coins and other pickups. I'm assuming the coins are for your score, but whether or not the other collectibles do the same is not quite clear yet. The other big change over the original is that the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive version is going to have simultaneous two-player. At last, a simultaneous two-player brand new game for the Mega Drive. Both players get to select their character. You can choose between the Barbarian or the Amazon Warrior. Now if you play in single player mode, you also get to select whether you play as the Barbarian or the Amazon Warrior as well. As the Barbarian, you'll be armed with a broadsword, and the Amazon has a steel whip to dispatch bad guys. Having played the original and now the Sega Genesis port, I can say the changes are a big improvement. The original game was a lot of fun, but the speed increase, extra moves and collectibles make a big difference. The original game had 5 levels and 5 ender level bosses, and we can only assume that at this point the Mega Drive version will have the same. Visually, the game has had a huge upgrade while keeping the aesthetics of the original. The game still has small sprite characters, giving more screen space over to the environment. All the visuals have been redone, splash screens, characters, enemies, backgrounds, everything has been redone. I love the new animations. Your character now has sword flourishes and adds a kick in there for good measure now and then. The cool enemy deaths are still in, but with more detail and blood sprays added. The selection screen is absolutely epic and the backgrounds have had a huge overhaul. As I said earlier, the game has smaller characters and larger environments, which is primarily used to accommodate the end of level enemies. The smaller characters are kinda cool, a little like action figures, and whilst they don't use a lot of pixels, what they do use is executed brilliantly. Your health bar has also been changed, and instead of a sword at the bottom of the screen, you now see your character's skin peel away in the top left-hand corner of the screen to reveal a skeleton. The animation in combat and as you traverse the world are well drawn and satisfying, as is smashing up barrels and crates. As great as the animations are, I'd love to see more ambient animations in the world. Maybe leaves blowing along in the wind, the water animating, and maybe another layer of parallax scrolling in the background, and maybe even now and then in the foreground as well. The sound design is hard to get a good sense of at this point in the game's development. The background sound that is in there is good, but there's not enough in there to say if it's going to be great. Sound effects are thin on the ground, and only with a single sound effect in there at the moment for hits. Again, I hope we get some sword swishes in there, wood breaking, and perhaps even some enemy death sounds. So there's our first look at Black Jewel from PSCD Games. These guys do a great job of porting games over to the Sega Mega Drive. They don't just merely copy and paste these games onto our 16-bit console, they do a ton of extra work afterwards, improving and tweaking gameplay mechanics, adding new visual fidelity to the games before they push them out. They're a great studio that makes some great products, and remember, these are the guys that are also doing the Resident Evil remake. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this brand new game coming out for the Sega Mega Drive. It's another one coming out for this awesome 16-bit console. It just seems that the Mega Drive and Genesis is on fire at the moment, and the Mega Drive community have a ton of awesome new games to get their hands on. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode and you're new to the channel, why not consider subscribing? You can do this by clicking on a little button just below this video. We make brand new videos every single Monday, and so that you never miss one, you can also click on a little bell just below this video. Now, if you can't wait until Monday, don't worry, we've got a huge back catalogue of retro gaming videos for you to enjoy, 2 of which you can watch over here.